This is Eric Beyer of Old Vine, Texas, a new winery tasting room featuring 100% Texas wines from wineries all over the state. We are located in Mansfield, Texas, inside of Ancora Event Center on Broad Street. We have weekly tastings, charcuterie board to enjoy, live music, and a new wine club. Go visit our website at oldvinetexas.com to sign up for our newsletter and learn more. Or you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Old Vine, Texas. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everybody, to We Know Texas Vino. I'm your host, Will, and I've got a very special guest today. Her name is Bénédicte Rhyne. Correct? Did I just say, or did I still enunciate it incorrectly?
Rhyne.
Rhyne.
Like,
okay.
Think about the Rhine River.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Let's try that again. All right.
Okay.
Say 1, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back, everybody, to We Know Texas Vino. I'm your host, Will. I've got a very special guest today. I have Bénédicte Rhyne. I got it right.
I'm very proud of you.
Hey, you know what? I'm a fast learner here, okay? So I've got her today. She is with, what is it, rhinewines.com?
Yes, rhinewines.com.
So thank you for coming on the show. It's an honor to have you here. I've heard your name multiple times from several people. And honestly, before just now, I did not put one-to-one together until just now who you are. And it is a super, super honor to have you here on the show today. And I'm giddy as a schoolgirl right now. So
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me, and nice to meet you too.
Yeah, appreciate it. Well, before we get into the show, I want to tell everybody where they can find us. So you can find us online at weknowtexasvino.wine. Also, you can find us on any podcasting platform, Facebook or YouTube at We Know Texas Vino. When you go out there and you find us, give us a 5-star rating on there. And if you find something you want us to add to the show, or talk to somebody, or you just love the show, or you just want to say hi, just say it. I'm here. We'll be appreciative. And then also coming soon, I will be dropping off a little fundraiser also on the Facebook page and also on our page, just to kind of help bring some money into the show, because this is all being funded out of my pocket. And we're just trying to showcase the winemakers here and try to push more awareness of Texas wines. So, well, Bénédicte, again, welcome to the show. It's such an honor here. And I've had to pull your resume up again. So let's start from the very beginning. Okay. So you're from France, correct? And
correct.
I'm not even going to try to enunciate the name. Can you enunciate the town that you were born in?
I was actually born in Paris.
Okay.
So, everybody knows Paris, right. But I spent most of my life in the south of France, okay. In a town that's about 200,000 people that's called Aix-en-Provence. So right in the heart of Provence. In the south, and surrounded by beautiful places, close to the sea, Mediterranean Sea, about an hour away, close to Marseille. Try to locate this for everyone. And of course, surrounded by vineyards as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, sitting here and literally it says you're a native of Aix-Provence.
En Provence, yes, Aix-en-Provence.
I'm trying to do it.
Yes.
And it immediately says you got your master's in enology there in what's the university?
Actually, I did my enology diplôme, which is a Diplôme National d'Œnologue in France, which is an enology degree in Burgundy, so in Dijon. So I went, straight north, wanted to learn winemaking in a different area than when I grew up. Okay. So as you know, or most people, I'm assuming know, Burgundy mainly has Chardonnay grapes and Pinot Noir grapes, a little bit of Aligoté. So I wanted to learn about other variety than what I was, accustomed to where I grew up. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you're in great country there. Okay. But of all the things in the world for you to do, what made you decide I want to make wine?
So it's kind of like an evolving process. So in France, the education system is a little bit different than United States. And very early on, they kind of channel you to where your talents are, as far as, you very early know if you're going to be more in math and science, or you're a philosopher. And so they channel you very early on in school. And so I've always liked science. I always liked math, and plants and anything to do with science. And so I naturally, studied towards that. And after 2 years, after I graduated from high school, I did 2 years of chemical, biochemistry, biology. And then at the end of those 2 years, that's when you kind of figure out your career. And there are different passions that I have. And I love nature. So I knew I wanted to do something with a plant. I thought vineyards and oaks were very noble plants. Turns out, winemaking really gave me an access to that, because vines, and then barrels, forest. But also my other passion is traveling, food, and entertaining people. And so wine really encompasses all those passions of mine. So I naturally decided to do this. I said, well, how about winemaking? And there's about 5 schools in France that do. There's one in Bordeaux, one in Champagne, one in Burgundy, and one in Montpellier. And so I said, well, let's go to Burgundy. And I applied, got accepted. That was 1987. Actually, I graduated in 87. So it was 1984 when I applied. And there were 16 people in my class and 3 women. This was, and I graduated in 1987. Wow. So a long time ago.
Wow. So 1984, what was that? So I was only knee high to a grasshopper at that time.
Well, so yeah, I know you're much younger than I. Yeah. So,
that is fascinating because, so let's just talk. We're going to divert off of wine for just a second. You talked about the French education system is different from the U.S. So they kind of like guide you into where you're supposed to be. They slot you into. They don't let you just pick your own thing. They just slot you into something. That's fascinating.
And then also, the cost of studying is very minimum. When I tell my kids how much it costed me to graduate from winemaking school, it was like $300. So I'm telling you this, that if you go a directions and you realize, it could have been possible that I decided to do winemaking, and after 6 months, I was like, this is not really for me. Then I didn't feel guilty. I spend all that money. Right. You change. You're like, there's no problem, but what I like about the system is they really channel you very young. Like when you're young, if you, if you like science, engineering, physics, or you are more like, I like to write. I like to, I'm a philosopher, or I'm an economist, or I like to talk, or, so they, through the year, you kind of channel in those different big kind of sectors.
That's fascinating. I love learning stuff, and I always say when you stop learning, you stop living. I mean, it's just that's life right there.
And winemaking is a big one. Like I just turned 60 this year. No, you didn't. And yes, I did. I still feel young. But my point is, I'm still learning. I've been a winemaker for 37 years now, and I am still learning. I'm probably going to die not learning everything about winemaking.
And I heard your name from a lady up in North Texas, Lisa from Rancho Serrano, and again, when I looked you up briefly, I looked at your resume and I'm like, man, this woman here is an amazing, talented winemaker here. And then when you finally showed up in front of me, I realized who you are. And it's first off, being a young winemaker, still trying to figure out my foothold in this industry itself. It's an honor to have you here. And even sitting here looking at it. Okay. First off, I'm Texan, so I'm going to enunciate everything Texan way. So please don't shoot me. Okay.
No, that's fine. I'm sure I butchered some words too, with my French accent. So.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story. We're going to diverse real quick. Okay. We're going to start off right away. So I was working Wednesday at the tasting room up in Grapevine, and a gentleman who was from France, very, very thick French accent. And he said he wanted to try our Pinot Noir. And I poured it for him, and he goes, "This is the Texas Pinot Noir." And I said, "Yes, sir, it is." He goes, "This is an amazing Pinot Noir." Now, again, his very thick French accent, I try to mimic that. I can't. Okay. It was very, very thick. He goes, "I need you to chill it for me a little bit." I'm like, "Okay, I could do that." So I threw it in the ice bin for a little bit so that it kind of chill. And he was going down the menu, and he stops and he looks at it, and he looks at me with this puzzled look on his face. And I go, "Is everything okay?" And he goes, "Texas grows a Pic Pol Blanc." And I was like, "Yes, sir. And we actually have some pretty good ones." And he goes, "I don't believe you." And again, this very thick accent. And I said, "Well, let me get you a glass of it." So I go and get him a glass, and I set it down in front of him, and he drinks it, and he looks at me and he goes, "You know, growing up as a kid in France, right in front of my house was a vineyard of Pic Pol Blanc."
Oh, wow.
And he goes, "I grew up drinking Pic Pol Blanc." And he goes, "This is probably the best outside of France Pic Pol Blanc I've ever drank." And bought 2 bottles of it right then and there.
Fantastic.
I was like, wow, okay.
Oh, wow. Great.
Yes.
Great.
Right, sorry, I digress here. But I'm sitting here looking at your information here, and I don't even know where to start. I really don't. And it's so hard because usually I'm a guy that talks a lot and I have everything kind of lined up. But I'm going to let you tell this story. So, all right, you went to college. You got your degree in enology. And where did you study at? Because everybody just didn't go out and start being a winemaker one day. You did your assistant winemaking and stuff. So take us on this journey that you went through.
Yes, thank you. So, so I graduated in 1987 from the Université de Bourgogne. And of course, it was focused then on Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. We did, we touched a little bit on other varieties. But at the end, when we graduated, our professor said, there's wine made all over the world. So feel free to go explore. And that's all I needed to hear, as I love traveling. So I immediately got an internship. I'm going to back up a little bit. At the end of the last year of studying in Burgundy, you had to do a training in a winery for 4 months. And I did mine in Pomerol in Bordeaux. So same idea. I wanted to be in a different area of France. And while I was there, I met a lady from Australia. Her name is Anna. And she said, "If you ever want to come and do a harvest, reach out to me." And so boom, that's what I did. When I graduated, I reached out to her, and she found me an internship in New Zealand. Mathieu Valley Wines in North Island of New Zealand. And so I did my internship in 1988, of course, South Hemisphere. So I ended up going there in January, and I was there until June. In the midst of that, I also went to Australia to visit Anna. I didn't work there. I just visited. She took me all over the Hunter Valley. We went to all the different wineries. At the time, she was working for... I can't remember the name now, but she was working for a very, very famous winery in Australia. And so that was that. I did that in 1988. And then when I came back, I tried to look for a job in France. I was kind of disappointed as a female. I was offered jobs to be the assistant winemaker of a guy that graduated with me. That kind of ticked me off a little bit. And I said no. So I said, well, why not travel more? But I ended up applying for a job in England for a wine importer who specialized in French wine. Okay. And I got the job. So I ended up spending 2 years, 1988 to 1990, as a sales rep for French wine. I was selling to pubs and restaurants and wine store. I missed the winemaking portion of it, but what I found out now with retrospect and a little more wisdom, that this was actually a very important part of my education, because I ended up tasting a lot of wines from everywhere in France, from everywhere in Germany, from everywhere in Italy, Spain, even California at the time. So this is 1988 1988 to 1990.
Okay.
That's what I did. And I also perfected my English the right way, the Shakespeare way. But after 2 years, I really, really missed having my hands dirty in grapes. So I came back to France and then started applying for jobs in California. Okay. And I probably wrote 50 or 60 different letters to different wineries in California, and Ravenswood Winery in Sonoma, California is responsible for bringing me to the States.
Nice.
On an H-1B visa at the time. Okay. So I landed in California, San Francisco, on August 10th, 1991. Mm-hmm. This was a very important date for me. And I had 2 suitcases and $200 on me.
Wow.
So, and just ended up going to Ravenswood. I stayed with the winemaker at his house until I had enough money to be able to rent something in Sonoma, which I was able to do at the end of December. And the rest of history, I stayed in the United States after that. So this was 1991. So if you do the math, I probably I have spent more time in the United States than I've spent in France at this point in my life.
Well, I have to commend that you still have your French accent. And listen to you. Okay, so I have this fascination with listening to different people's accents. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is about when French people talk and they enunciate their towns and all that. And it's just that, I don't know what it's called. It's just, I like that sound.
Oh,
like
thank you.
You said Provence, that France, I like that. You know? Or me, I love saying Picpoul Blanc or Sauvignon Blanc. I like saying that. I don't know why.
Oh, thank you. Well, you're doing it right. You're not butchering it. Thank you. Because, it always irritates me when I hear Merlot or, Yeah. So, it's funny, but it's like, no. It's a silent T. Yeah.
It's funny because, we look at it and we enunciate it according to what we see it as, so yes, there you're going to say Merlot off it, but we all know it's Merlot, or Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
A lot of people don't understand that. But that goes back to the education.
Yes.
People come in and they don't know. And if they don't know, they're not going to do it. And we just got to teach them, you're like, no, that's not the way you say it. This is how you say it.
Yes.
And then the next thing they'll say it right. Or like my mom, I love my mom to death. We won't say anything else outside of that.
And that's when I feel comfortable now as I just correct them.
Yeah.
And I was corrected, to be fair. Mm-hmm. I used to pronounce Aglianico the wrong way. Okay. And an Italian person corrected me. And since then,
how's it enunciated?
It's a silent G. So I used to say Aglianico, the French, because in French, the G, you pronounce the G. Right. And they said, no. It's a silent G. So Aglianico.
So, okay, I'm going to make fun of the English language. Why don't we just take the G out and you don't have to worry about it?
There you go. That would be your phonetic. Yeah.
That'd be correct, at that point.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you went out to Ravenswood, you learned to become a winemaker out there, like really got your hands dirty and just started doing it. But what brought you to Texas? I mean, what was the fascination of Texas wines? I mean, 2002, Texas wine really hasn't really taken hold at this point.
Yeah. So this is where it includes a little bit of my personal story. So Ravenswood was founded in the early 70s or mid 70s. And then in 1998, so I joined in 91. In 1998, they went public. And they actually sold in 2002 to Constellation. So it was like a long process. At that time, the winery, when I joined the winery, there were about 50,000 cases and they had grown to about 500,000 cases. But also during that time, I met my husband. We got married in 96. Our first 2 kids were born in Santa Rosa, one in 98, one in 2000. So we had a growing family and we're both working in the wine industry. I have, pretty important apart and we're pretty busy, and we kind of reassessed our life. It's like, well, we have a family now. We need to spend more time with them. Basically, a babysitter was raising our kids. And so we shifted our ideas. And then at the same time, Ravenswood was sold to Constellation. I knew it was going to change. And so we made the bold move to say, let's move out of California. And Richie's originally from Kansas. Mm-hmm. So we started looking at maybe getting closer to his family. And then he's talked to one of his friends who lived in Bandera, Texas. Okay. And he was a very good friend of his. And he said, there's a wine industry in Texas. You should come check it out. So we did. And so on 9/11, we were in Texas. We had flown in on 9/9 in Dallas.
Wow.
With our 2 kids. We rented a minivan, and here we are visiting Dallas. We went to Lubbock, and on our trip from Lubbock to Fredericksburg, that's when we heard about the Twin Towers. So we were actually living in California, but we were here in Texas. And so when we approached Fredericksburg and that whole area, I told my husband, oh my gosh, this reminds me of Provence, the topography, the terroir, the soil, the limestone soil. Mm-hmm. Of course, the housing and everything looked different, but I said the climate. And so I said, there's no reason why you can't grow good grapes here. And so visiting all the wineries, the few wineries that were in Texas Hill Country, but also in the High Plains and in the Dallas area, I realized they need help. They need professional, because a lot of them were hiring consultant winemakers from California at the time. Most of them didn't have a wine lab, and I was like, I could help this industry. Right. And so I said, I could see myself living here. So we made that decision after that visit that was going to be our goal. So this is September 2001. And by May of the following year, 2002, we had sold our house in California. Wow. And we were driving our vehicles with the moving truck a little bit behind us into Fredericksburg, Texas. We purchased a house here in Fredericksburg on 22 acres. And that's where we're still living now. Nice. And so that was the move. I started consulting for a few wineries. I built my own lab on my property. And so in that capacity, I've been the winemaker from many, many wineries. In 2003, Saint Genevieve and Fort Stockton invited me to become their winemaker. So I started there in 2003. I did the trip. I refused to move there. Yeah. So I told them, I think I can do the job by traveling 2 days a week. Mm-hmm. And so I can't believe that I did that, but I did that for 19 years.
Well, your passion will lead you to do a lot of things.
Yes. And in the midst of that, we had another child. So we have a truly Texas-born son. And he just turned 18 this year.
Congratulations.
So, yes. So...
Wow.
So that's the reason we landed here.
Okay.
So I feel very proud that I've definitely been part of the expansion and increase of the wine industry in Texas, for sure.
And one of the things that I had a question, and you literally said it, is when you got here, it reminds you of back home. Mm-hmm. And we all know that Texas has so many different areas. Let's just call it terroir. Okay. Let's just call it as it is. Okay.
Sure.
So you can go East Texas and you have a lot of moisture there. You go to North Texas and it's a lot of dry humidity up there. And then you go up to around Lubbock area and it's just sandy, dry, and then cool off at night area. And then you go out to West Texas and there's nothing out there. And then
there was a vineyard, 200-acre vineyard for a long time. And and Marfa too, you need, that's another,
Well, we won't talk about the aliens out there either.
Yes. So. Yeah.
But, everybody associates all wine industry for Texas in the hill country because of the rolling hills. Mm-hmm. Now, I've only been to California maybe twice in my whole lifetime. Okay. And I stayed up in Bee Cave the last couple of days. And coming into Bee Cave, I swear, if I didn't know better, I was rolling in through California under the hills. Mm-hmm. The way the houses were built up on the hills and stuff. And there were a couple of vineyards I saw there. And I'm like, this is absolutely gorgeous here. And I first off, I can't experience what you had in France here, just to see the two differences and how it made you happy. But everybody talks about how we have some of the same type of climates and regions and all of that that's over in Europe, which makes Texas very prime for growing a whole different varietals of grapes.
Yes.
And that is just absolutely amazing. In fact, actually, I think one of the unofficial grape of Texas is Tempranillo. You know, because, you know, we're on the same parallel as Spain. My hand just right in front of the camera. But sorry, I talk with my hands, you know, I got a big grandeur, you know. And so it's just amazing that every day I hear about a new varietal being planted here in Texas. In fact, actually, Sandy Rhodes planted one, and I'm not even going to try to enunciate the name on it.
Marcelin.
It started with a P.
Okay. Well, they also planted Marcelin, which I think they were the only one in Texas.
Really?
With that vineyard. And that's a variety that's been developed in the south of France and Montpellier. And my cousin, who has also a winery in the south of France, he has Marcelin as well. Yeah.
Let me see if I can actually pull it up here.
Marselan. It's a cross with Cabernet Sauvignon and Grenache.
Oh. Well, the one that I'm thinking of is...
So the other one,
it starts with Prieto. Prieto?
I've never heard of. Oh, Piccolo. Sorry, I don't have my glasses. Sorry. Like, that's what happened after you turn 40. You can't see. You have to have a special distance. Yeah, this is perfect distance for you. Picudo. Prieto Picudo. Is that like a Italian variety? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with that. I would have to see if there is like a friend. You know, sometimes varieties have multiple names. Right. They're the same, but they're depending. Like Carignan in French, Carignan in Spanish. You know,
right. So well, you know, they were actually the only winery / vineyard that was growing that grape in the United States.
Oh, in United States, period.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was actually really shocked by that. And I'm like, why? Okay. So first off, my question was, why? Why did you pick that? Of all the thousands and thousands of different varietals out there, why did you pick that? And probably the same reason I would give for everything else. Texas, we grow everything. Yeah. You know, as the saying is, hold my beer. Yeah. Watch me do this.
Well, and, you know, remember, France is smaller than Texas as well. Yeah. So it would be like you would be a winemaker in France and you're getting grapes from Champagne, Burgundy, Bordeaux, the Loire Valley, the south of France, Corsica. But you're a winery who's dealing with all those different varietals. It's like insane. Like for French people, you can't even fathom that because if you're in Bordeaux, you just make Bordeaux. If you're in, you know, you're in Provence, you just make Provence. You know,
I didn't realize that it was that segmented there in France. I didn't know that. Yeah. Again, that's another place. One of these days when I grow up, I'll get to travel over there.
Well, and it's the same Spain and Italy. You just make wine unless you're a négociant and you're buying from many different. But if you're a winemaker in a winery, you make wine from the vineyard around you.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so of all the grapes that we grow here in Texas, what is your favorite one to grow?
Okay. So that's what everybody questions. So like, what's your favorite wine that you make?
You know my response for that?
Well, yes. So
my response when someone asks me that, I'll say, well, which one's your favorite kid?
Yes. And that's usually my response. Now, if there are some varieties so one of the struggle we have, and I know we're going to talk about this tonight, but one of the struggle is Mother Nature. Yeah. So one of the varieties that seem to be doing really well, you can, you know, it can survive many things. The way you grow it, the way you manage the vineyard is Petit Verdot.
Yes.
Petit Verdot can take beatings, can take whatever. So that's an easy one to grow. Right. I've seen it in the high plains. I've seen it here. I've seen it in many different places. And it always is very consistent at making really dark wine. Some people like it as a single variety. For me, I'm a blend person. When we start talking about my winemaking style, I love blends. So I love it, Petit Verdot, as a blender, especially with Bordeaux variety. But there are also some variety that do really well. And, Alianico and Picpoul Blanc, we're going to talk about it tonight. I think there are definitely variety that we should be investing in because they keep their acidity through the whole growing season. So that's a very helpful tool for a winemaker, because in Texas we deal with our balance with acidity and pH. That's a struggle for most varieties.
I know most of the varieties that I've dealt with so far, and I've talked to other winemakers, is they say the acidity is the biggest thing.
Yes.
And so when you kind of kill that the acidity down, sometimes you take flavors with it as well. So it's kind of a balancing game. You know, you don't want to do it too much, but you don't want to do it too little either. You know.
Yes.
So you get here to Texas, you got your little tasting. Well, actually, first, let's say you got your property, you got your family going here. So did you just find a winery, or did you open up your own tasting room right away?
No.
What got you your foothold into Texas other than doing your consulting? So you're done with your consulting now. You're doing it at St. Genevieve.
No, I'm still.
Oh, you're still doing it.
I still. So I still like. It's not really, well, it's consulting and not. I'm the winemaker for 6 different wineries here. Small, So I have 6 customers. And in the midst of that, I also have my own brand called Rhyne Wines. But I just started that in 23. This is after my kids said, okay, Mom, you've been a winemaker for that long. It's time you get your own label going. And so,
So you was kind of like a custom crush then.
Yeah. So I don't have a winery. I don't have a tasting room.
But your name precedes, and that name right there, what sells.
Yes.
So
people are chasing me. Wow. But I've been in the mid also, I forgot to mention, I've been the winemaker for other wineries. So St. Genevieve was a winemaker there for 19 years. I was also a founder of Coleman Cellars and was the winemaker there for 10 years. And then just consulting through my lab too. I helped a bunch of wineries. And I'm still doing that. You know,
it's awesome that you're still chasing your passion.
Yes.
And again, we talked about this earlier. You know, it's an ever evolving, ever learning, about wine, because you can't get a grape this year and next year the grape will be the same. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be the same grape every year. In fact, that even precedes, let's talk about this year's grape growing. How do you feel it with all this rain that we've had? How do you feel the grapes are going to be this year compared to last year and the year before?
Yeah, it's crazy. That's another challenging year. I think that's what's awesome about winemaking. Like you said, it's never the same. I've been a winemaker for 37 years. There's not been a single year that was the same. And will never be. I proceed, So this year, lots and lots of water. I think this is the first year that I've seen our gauge at our house overflowing. Wow. It's a 6-inch gauge. Wow. It's never happened before.
Wow.
We may have reached 4.5, but at one point, poof, over 6 inches.
Wow.
So it's very interesting to see how the vineyards are reacting. They all have different things, but I think it may be a blessing. So talking about pH and acidity balance, what I'm noticing is that the pH and acids are actually looking really good. They are maintaining. We haven't had 100-degree weather. Last year, the vines were suffering and struggling with this, as well as us, by the way, with this 105 degrees for so long.
Right.
And so, yes, the pH were going all over. And in moment of stress, a lot happened to vines. And so it really shows, it was hard last year was also pretty hard. Right. We had great phenolics last year. I think this year's we may, if we continue having this kind of weather in the 90s, but not in the hundreds, for the next month, it's going to be super great. But everything seems to be coming earlier. We were kind of shocked. I'm kind of shocked. I'm trying to wrap myself around. That's it. We're in harvest mode right now. We're going to harvest Monday morning, a Roussanne here in the Hill Country. I think we're going to be harvesting some Merlot in the Blancourt County this coming week. So we are definitely in harvest. Wow. And I just we're not even the 20th of July.
Right.
yet. And so normally I'm thinking, end of July. And here we are. We're on the 18th.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow.
Well, one of the big questions I get all the time is, does this heat, and it's always a two-coin question, does the grapes love water and does the grapes love the heat? Well, it's a yes, no answer.
Well, they need both.
They need both.
And at special times.
Yes.
And so we don't control that.
Yeah.
We don't have the little...
Yeah, we don't have that thermostat to say rain, no rain,
And we don't have the tap to open the water. We need, although we do irrigates here, which is something that, of course, in France, we're not used to, although it's probably going to change with the climate change. Right. I think they're going to have to start irrigating in the south of France, which is going to change the dynamic of everything. I have actually a story about that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and do it. Okay.
Ahead.
So when I was at Ravenswood, we had one, Ravenswood was known for their Zinfandel. So I worked, this was a new thing for me. Zinfandel, didn't really know that grapes before. And there was one vineyard which was called Cook. So people who are familiar with Ravenswood was very famous Zinfandel, Cook Zinfandel, on the hills of Sonoma, who was planted on pure limestone and never been irrigated, ever, dry.
Okay.
And then 1 year, so we've been making Zinfandel from this vineyard for a long time. And then 1 year they decided to start irrigating, totally changed the profile of the wine. Completely different.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I tell people.
So if we do that in France, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if they do or not.
That would definitely be interesting. And I tell people, they ask me, well, do grapes love the heat? Or do they hate the heat? And I say, well, a lot of times they actually love the heat to a point. Like we don't love the heat to a point, but when they start stressing out, they start getting plumper, and that's where the Brix and I tell them the Brix is actually the sugar gets higher on there because they're like, oh crap, I don't know if I'm gonna get any more water out of it, and then when it rains, they relieve that pressure, and then all those Brix go back down, and they look at me like I'm crazy, and they say, well, why don't you just use sugar on the back end of it, or once you add sugar to it to help raise that up? I'm like, well, you want the natural sugar. You don't want to add sugar to it if you don't have to. Fortunately, sometimes you have to go in there and add sugar in it to get your alcohol levels where you want it to be. And it's fascinating that when you start telling people about that, they didn't know this. And then they turn around and say, well, how do grapes grow here in Texas? And I'm like, well, we got 14,000 acres under vine, so I think we're doing pretty good right now,
Yeah.
And it's fascinating that people, when they hear about this, they didn't know Texas really grows grapes.
Yeah, and we have everything we need.
Yeah.
So it's just a challenge, because it doesn't come all necessarily at the time you want it to be there. But we are guaranteed to have sunshine. So I don't think it's like England where you can have days and days and days of gray sky.
I don't know if
we may have some gray sky for 1 or 2 days or 3 max, but the blue sky and sun is guaranteed in Texas. Yeah.
So of all the wines that you make, and I know personally for me, I love making Tempranillo. That's my favorite one to make. Which one is your favorite one? Like it's the one that you get all excited about. You're like, oh, I got a lot of this. I get to make this again this year. Which one's that for you?
So people that really know me know that I've a little bit of a special love for Merlot. So I love Bordeaux varieties, but I've also learned to. I love making, rosé, Grenache rosé. I love, the Picpoul Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc. I don't know. It's really hard for me to pinpoint. I love the challenges of each variety. It's just coming back to what you were telling earlier, which is your favorite kids. Every kid is different. If you have a family, we have 3 children. They're all very different. Right. The 3 of them.
Go ahead and admit which one is your favorite, though.
Yeah.
I won't put it on there.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. But still, the way you deal with them is different. And that's what's fun about it.
Yeah.
It would be kind of boring if they were all looking the same and if they were all having the same character. So that's what makes it also a lot of fun in our jobs. It's like, it's fun to deal, and I like the challenge. Right. Like I love to be challenged. So, okay, this year, this one gave me a couple of silver hair. hey, but it turned out pretty awesome, So to answer your question, I love them all, and there's fair. Not a single one. I don't like making sweet wine.
Thank you.
I have to be fair.
We'll have to high five on that one because I'm not to say I'm a sweet guy, but not a sweet guy.
Yeah. I don't like making sweet wine. I just like to really have dry wines. So that's the only thing. Yeah.
So have you actually experienced anything with Blanc de Bois yet?
Yes, I have.
What's your thoughts on that hybrid grape? I
love it.
My first experience with it is Terra Vineyards in East Texas. It was Mother's Day weekend, and I was surprising my mom there. And I get there, and I have OCDs. Okay, we all have little OCD moments. Okay, so my water has to be on my right, and my wine has to be on my left. Okay, and so I saw this Blanc de Bois on there. I've never had it before, and I asked them to bring me a glass of it out. So how it happened is my water ended up on my left, and my wine ended up on the right. Okay, and I went to reach to grab for it, thinking it was my water, and I went to drink it. And first off, it was very clear. I mean, it was almost clear as water. And when I grabbed it and I drank it, and I'm like, this is the most amazing water I've ever drank in my life. And then they told me that's actually the Blanc de Bois. They had actually filtered it so much that it was almost as clear as water. And I personally, I'm the mindset when you filter that much, you're taking a lot of flavors out. But honestly, it was really good. And it was one of those that you could literally sit on the back porch. You know how we always talk about the porch pounder when it's hot outside, you can sit out there and drink it. This one right here, I would rather sit on the back porch, listen to it rain on a tin roof than sit on it with the sun shining on me.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, it was one of those wines. So I really, really did enjoy that. And then Black Spanish is another one that I've really started to enjoy also. In fact, actually, Michael McClendon has actually made a sparkling Black Spanish.
Oh, I haven't tried that. Interesting.
It's pretty good. It's definitely different. In fact, actually, when I did his episode, him and Wes popped the cork off of that, and I swear it shot off like 6 feet in the air.
Oh gosh!
This fountain from the bottle just was big, huge fountain. They made a huge mess. Thank God it was my place.
Okay. Well, so I do have a customer. Her name is Gina Whitley, and she has a vineyard in Montgomery, Texas, and it's Blanc de Bois and Black Spanish. So her and I have been working on that for the past, 4 or 5 years. And so I've, learned to discover Blanc de Bois and Black Spanish. I would say Black Spanish, we're still working on it. I think we're coming close. There is an aromatic in there that I don't like, and she doesn't either. So we've been working really hard on that. And I think we're coming, after 3 or 4 years of trial and errors, we've come to figure out how we can get rid of it. But Blanc de Bois, I like it too. I mean, if you have to harvest it early, early bricks, like 21 bricks, sometimes 20. And it can makes beautiful wines. Oh yeah. I agree.
Yeah. In fact, actually, there's a lady up in Stephenville, Texas. Now, if you think of Blanc de Bois, you think East Texas.
Yes.
Because it loves the water. It loves that humidity. It grows really well there. And it's also resistant to Pierce disease and Phylloxera. But
correct.
There's a lady over in Stephenville. She grows it in West Texas. Okay. So there's no water. It's not humid. It's just hot. And she's actually made 2 of them. She's made one that was unfiltered and one that was filtered. The unfiltered one, when it was cold and she poured it for us, it was like eating a cold apricot.
Oh, wow.
Like amazing. And then she turned around, she goes, here's my filtered one. And when she had it filtered, it tastes like eating a green apple. So it's kind of amazing the contrast in wines when you filter it all out and stuff.
Yes. And I think I forgot who was saying, but it's a very versatile grapes. You can make it as a dry, like you just described, those 2 different styles. Sweet, you can make it as a sparkling, as a port, as a sherry. It's a very versatile variety. Yeah.
So all the wines that you make right now, is there anything that you want to make that you just haven't really done it yet because either one, you're nervous about it? Because I know every winemaker says they have that one grape that's like their arch enemy that they want to do it, but they're afraid to mess it up because they want to make it perfect.
Yeah. So I've never really made sparkling wine in United States. So Ravenswood, we didn't. So last year in 24, for the first time, I did a pick pull. So this is from one of my customer called Formondo. Their vineyard is here in the hill country on 10 miles north of Highway 16. And we did a pick pull. And so I had to go back to my learning lessons, probably talk to a couple of other French winemakers on how to do this. And so, yeah, I'm nervous because I want to make sure I do, and I've never done it.
Right.
So we just harvested the 2025 last Saturday.
Okay.
And so I pitched the yeast. Yeah, cross fingers. But I also need to taste what we did last year. And so I'm doing the cuvée, and then Will and Chris is doing the tirage and the finishing of the second fermentation in the bottle. So
awesome.
So I would say that's a little bit of my challenge for this year. I want to make sure it comes out good. And of course, Pic Pool Blanc, not the typical Chardonnay or Chenin Blanc.
Right.
So we'll see. It should have all the necessary ingredients, I should say. I hate to use that word for grape, but we'll see.
So that's a good topic you just talked about on sparkling. Okay. So, and I'm not a big champagne. I want to use that word because that's where I'm going to reference is champagne. So what are the actual, because a lot of people ask me this question, I don't know it. And I haven't really taken the time to look it up. What are the typical grapes made for champagne or used for champagne?
Yes. So that's the Champagne area. So Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, and Pinot Meunier.
Okay.
And Pinot Meunier is kind of a grayish, it's still a red variety, but it's not as dark as Pinot Noir. So those are the three main variety for Champagne. And I'm different of you. Champagne is my favorite drink of all time. Like sometimes people ask you, if you were left on a desert island, what would be the food and wine you would take with you? And I always say champagne because it goes with everything. Yeah. I love it. I love it. My husband does not like champagne, but I do. I love it. But I don't make it. Like doing it because Pic Pool Blanc sparkling is not champagne.
Right.
But I think if I had been wanting to make champagne, I would have never left France and I would be in Champagne, and that's all I would do. I think when you do those kind of wines, you should just concentrate on that.
Okay. So with that being said, so now we call everything here in the U.S. sparkling. Okay. It fascinates me that we will literally say, you know what, this grape is going to make a good sparkling.
Yes.
So let's take Elisa Christopher for an example. Okay.
Yes.
So she made a sparkling Trebbiano that I'm not going to lie, if I could afford it, I would buy 6 or 7 cases of that and have it at my house just for that case that I just want to open up and drink one, And then of course she did a sparkling Brut Blanc de Bois, and then she did a Rosé Grenache, and now she just did a Rosé Pinot Noir, which I have to go out and visit her and get that bottle now, And so what is your thoughts about Texas just using random grapes to make sparkling out of?
Well, remember, so we talked about Champagne. It's just one area, and their process is incredible. But there is sparkling wine made everywhere in the world.
Okay.
You name it. India makes sparkling wine.
Okay.
Like you anywhere you can think about where grapes are grown, there's probably going to be a sparkling. They can't call it Champagne.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
But so why not? Why not make? So I think if you have good acidity is the main driven factor in your sparkling that you really need to have correct.
Okay.
So anything that does have the right acidity, why not? Blanc du Bois always have really high acidity. Trebbiano, if you harvest it at the right bricks, you can. This is something you can control because you are likely going to harvest early.
Right.
So you can just look at your acidity balance.
Okay. And honestly, I didn't, and sometimes in my, I'm going to call it as is feeble little mind, I don't think about in the world in general that they're making sparkling also. And they're using random grapes also to make it. And I never really thought about that until you just mentioned that. And I'm sitting there like,
Yeah, Moscato. Like you said, that's your first favorite wine.
Moscato.
There is a sparkling wine made from Moscato, so a Muscat. So, yeah.
Yeah. So it's okay. So then again, everything just kind of falls in a full circle. It's a learning process of everything that goes on in this industry. You and I both know, being a young winemaker to being a seasoned winemaker, it's always a learning process. And if you stop learning, you're not living no more. And I tell that to everybody. So Bénédicte, is there anything else you want to talk about? Is there anything I didn't cover that you just want to talk about that you're passionate about?
Well, like passion.
Yeah.
You have to have the passion. It's very hard work.
It is.
Being a winemaker.
It is.
It's very hard work, but it's very rewarding.
Okay.
Very rewarding. Very rewarding.
It is.
And so, just have the passion, know it. Like, I'll tell you a little story. My oldest son, struggled, with high school, trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life. And so he went to college for 2 years. While he was there, he was working for a winery in Plantersville called Bernhardt Winery, close to Houston. And after 2 years, he came for Thanksgiving and he said, I know what I want to do. I want to be a winemaker. He looks at me, and of course, I had tears in my eyes, but then I said, I want to make sure this is really, you have that passion and that fire in your stomach, not because you see your mom being so happy and in her job, and maybe that's what you should do, so you'll be happy. And so I forced him to go all over the world and work harvest, scrubbing tanks, working really hard, long hours. So he ended up going to France. Of course, my children are all French as well. So he worked in France for a season, and he went to New Zealand for a season, came back, went to Oregon, came back to Texas, worked in Texas. And after those 3 years, I said, do you still have that passion in your guts? And I mean, I could tell he did. And I said, okay, then go for it. And so now he's a winemaker in Washington State, in Walla Walla. So my point is, you've got to have that passion because it's hard work.
It is.
And a little bit of talent as well. And enjoy it. Yeah. Like, enjoy every day, even if you're working 20 hours a day. Yeah. You're still enjoying it.
Yeah. And I think there was I'm trying to remember who the winemaker was. This gentleman asked his winemaker, how many times a year do you get to make wine? And he goes, I get to do it one time a year. And I get to make it the best that I can every year. And he says, I've been doing it for 42 years now. Yeah. So that's 42 times that he's made wine. Yeah. So it is a passion, and it's also a very delicate passion.
Yes. And it's because a lot can go wrong. Yeah. And it's almost the feeling, I tried to make an analogy of when, like an actor on the theater, you get that little thing right before you get on the stage. You have these things every beginning of harvest, even though this is going to be my 37th harvest. I have that. I have that little thing in my stomach. It's like, and then you get into it, and then you get it. And then when you taste the wines after they're finished, usually I like to taste them in January. I don't like to taste them when they just fermented, but you follow them through the whole fermentation. But then when you taste them back in January or February, and you're like, dang, they're so good, so, but there is always, every year, like right now, I have that little knotted stomach before harvest starts.
Yeah. And that's, you brought up something good point there, because last year I worked in a vineyard, and I worked all the way through the summer, and then helped during the harvest, and I helped do the crushing and destemming. Actually helped go through to get rid of the mog out of it as well. For people out there who don't understand, mog is materials other than grape, like snakes and spiders and everything else. Yes. And so we helped go through all that, and I went through the crushing with them and the destemming, and then we put it into the tanks and got the yeast into it. And just to sit there and watch this being produced, and I got to watch it grow from a tiny blossom into harvesting it, to crushing it, putting it and getting it ready to make wine. It's I hate to say it like this, but it's an emotional journey. You get to watch your child start from something to make it from nothing. And let's just call it as it is. It's not there at that point, from nothing to something. And then you get to taste your finished results, and you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think some people sometimes should try it one time. I'm not saying you do it for the rest of your life. Do it once, and you'll see where our passion as winemakers come from.
Yeah, and I always like to do the analogy. It's like when you're a mom, I said there's two very stressful moments in the life of a winemaker. Harvest, which is the birth, and bottling, which is the graduation.
Yep.
And then you have all in between where your wine is changing. It's kind of like raising a child from birth to graduation. Yeah.
It is. It definitely is. 100%.
Yeah.
So Bénédicte, again, this is all about you. So is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. I need a glass of wine.
Hey, why didn't we have any wine?
Well, I know. I will now. Yeah.
Are you bringing some tonight?
Yes, I am. I'm bringing my Grenache Rosé. Yeah, we didn't talk about Rhine wines, but that's fine. We'll talk about it tonight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You sure you want to talk about it for just a second?
Yeah. So in 2023, I left Coleman, and right at that time, my children, who now are adult, they said, "Mom, it's time for you to start your own brand." And so I struggled because, I was 58, and I was like, really? You want to start my wine now? And I said, yes, it's time you put your name on your bottle. You've been making wine for so many people for so long. It's time you have your own brand. So I started with my first one being from Provence. I wanted to make a Grenache Rosé, Provence style. And so that's what we'll taste tonight.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here pulling your website up right now. And
okay.
I'm just looking at what you got here. So we got Rosé Grenache.
Yes. And then 2024, April 2024, I'm sure you all remember in Texas, we had the eclipse. And so I also have like 4 cases left of this wine, which is a Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon blend.
Okay, so I had to actually make sure I was seeing the screen right. So
L'Eclipse. So it's the French, it's L' Eclipse, L'Eclipse.
Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
I know you've been, doing work for everybody else. And when it's time for you to do your own stuff, it's kind of like, it's a big leap.
Yes, it is.
But do you know you've been making your own wine for somebody else for years already now?
Yes.
I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
So you've already got the technique down. Just do it.
Yeah. Yes.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
It's awesome. It's
nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. It's been an honor to have you on the show right quick today. Typically, I do a little education today, and I feel like I got educated from you, and I think our listeners got educated also today. So we're going to kind of skip the education today. So I'm going to go into our sponsors right quick, and then we're going to go into some wine quotes. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So, sorry, I talk really fast.
Yeah, I was like, I had to concentrate.
Sorry. After about 7 or 8 glasses of wine, then I start slowing down.
All right. Can you do that next time?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah. It's so funny story. So when I started doing this podcast, I started listening to myself, and I'm like, oh my God, who is this person talking here? And I got accustomed to it, and to learn how to start speaking slower so people can understand me is I actually started doing voiced text. Because if I talk fast, it doesn't understand me, and sometimes it puts some words in there that shouldn't be in there.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Good for you.
So I've had to use it and sometimes to help slow me down.
Wow.
Now, when I get excited, it's kind of hard, and you're sitting in front of me, so it's kind of hard not to be excited, because you're an amazing woman. You got a lot of knowledge, and I've heard a lot of stories about you, and finally to get to have you in front of me, it's an honor.
Thank you.
And so just excited.
Thank you.
So, but real quick, we'll hit our sponsors. So first off, Texas Wine Lover. Great little app, great way to find local Texas wineries, not only just here in the Hill Country, but all over Texas. And there's 700, 800 wineries in Texas. And if you can't find one variety you like at one place, go to another one. You'll find a variety you'll like. And then, of course, our other sponsor is Old Vine Texas up in Mansfield, Texas. They're bringing a lot of Hill Country wines up there for everybody in the North Texas who doesn't want to travel 4 hours to the Hill Country. So they're bringing a lot of the taste of the Hill Country to North Texas for everybody. And then, of course, my last sponsor is this little thing right here. Oh, I haven't even showed you this yet.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
What is that?
Every time I show this to somebody, they get all excited about this. So this is what's called as a high camp flask. Okay. So it holds an exactly one bottle of wine. Okay.
Oh.
And let's say you're out in the vineyard working. Okay. And you want a glass of wine and you've got this with you. You can literally pull it out of the sleeve and each end becomes its own little tumbler. Okay.
Wow.
And it's all magnetic. And this actually pressurizes. When you put your wine into it, it pressurizes. And it will keep your wine at the perfect temperature up to 24 hours. Now,
that's wonderful.
I put that whole 24-hour thing to test. Okay.
And?
So I put some Barbera in this and took it up to Possum Kingdom Lake. And I literally set it in the sun all day. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, me and my stepdad, we opened this up. And first off, when we opened it, it released pressure. So that we knew that it kept everything chilled. And we poured it, and the wine was still at a good temperature. Wasn't hot. I would say it probably was like 70, 72 degrees. So it was still a good temperature. And it was still good. It wasn't bad.
Wonderful.
And I thought that was an amazing little product. So now, this is one of my sponsors, and I bring it. And every time I show it to somebody, they're like, oh, my God, that's the most amazing thing ever.
It is.
And not only do they offer for wine, but they also offer it for if you want to take a little flask, they have a little shot glass on it. So you pull the shot glass off, pour your little whiskey into it and go from there.
Whoa.
So
very well thought out.
Yeah. It's a really
super
nice
cool
little product. You know?
Yeah.
So, well, now that we got through that, we're going to actually go to our wine quotes. And you know, I've had to pull some different wine quotes for this episode. And I think our conversation, these quotes go well with it. Wine, because adulting is hard. And then this one is pretty good. I am not a wine expert, but I'm willing to learn by tasting.
Good one. A glass a day.
A glass a day. So this is Will. So go ahead. We'll try to get. I'll say my name. You say your name. Okay.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
No, that's okay because I've springed that on everybody the last moment. So this is Will.
This is Benedict.
And this is We Know Texas Vino. Cheers.
Cheers.